EJ, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Thank you for having me.
Almost an eggnog-colored hoodie.
Literally.
It's so
I might
close.
as well get in on this endorsement, guys.
You like eggnog?
For one, I do love eggnog.
Oh,
Perfect.
And my sweatshirt also matches the bottle here, so I like that.
I just put a little in my coffee,
There you
which
go.
I mean that's next level stuff right
It's
there.
holiday season, man.
Yeah,
You got to
right
do it.
on.
Absolutely.
how's playing in Buffalo?
I was playing in Buffalo. It actually reminds me of Boston. As soon as I got out the airport, I was reminded of just the North. I live in Miami, so it's a little warmer down there. But it was fun, man. The Bills Mafia fans are some of the best. I know this is a Boston show, so nobody probably wants to hear that, but they were great. And my 4 years there, I learned a lot. Definitely felt like I became a man.
Yeah.
And even with the situation after me, I look back on it, and it's made me a better person.
It's a cool place to play, and I backed up Drew Bledsoe for like 7 years, and he
Yeah.
ended up going to Buffalo. He said he loves it up there.
Yeah.
But like we
Those
get
fans
into it
go
with the
hard,
fans,
man.
and the fans are nuts, man.
Yeah.
Like as long as you play for the Bills, they love you.
Yeah.
But
Look, my dad and Bruce Smith grew up from third grade on, so I've known Bruce my entire life.
Really?
Yeah.
didn't know
Hall
that.
of Fame defensive end. And so when I did go to the Bills, it was kind of a full circle moment just because I've known Bruce forever, and
He
that
grew
was
up
really
Virginia
cool.
Beach?
And yeah, he's from Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, Norfolk,
All right.
Virginia. Yes, sir.
gotcha.
Wow, okay. So we've been talking quarterbacks a lot here in Boston because Mac Jones has now been benched. They're onto their backup, and the Patriots could be in the quarterback market going back into the draft. But Mac is now in year 3, and he's sort of going through the realization that maybe his career is not going to go the way that he thought it was going to go when he came into this league just 2 years ago, right? Like that all changes in a really short amount of time in this league. And it has brought up this debate about do guys get enough second chances at that position in the league? And a lot of people look at Geno Smith out in Seattle right now, a guy who hung around, and got that second chance. You were in a spot in Buffalo where
Same
a few
situation.
years in, it was, it was not going in the direction that a lot of people thought it would for you. So what do you think Mac is dealing with right now? Do you think there's going to be that second chance for him? What do you make of that?
Well, I look at my situation. I mean, I got benched after my second year, and we were 2-2. We had won our first 2 games and lost the other 2, and Marone, had replaced me with Kyle Orton. And the whole thought was, hey, we want you to learn from a veteran. And then Marone's staff, they leave. Rex comes in, brings in his own guys. And so it was kind of what it was from there. But I do think for Mac Jones, one, I would try to encourage him and say, hey, look, if it doesn't work out in New England, there's other places where you can still play too. So I think that's ultimately what he needs to be reminded of. If if the fan base, because really the big part of it is narrative-wise. If the fans aren't necessarily in his corner anymore, it's really hard to kind of dig yourself out of that hole unless you go out there and just win every single game from the rest of the season. And so I would just say stay encouraged, and you never know. You're still one play away. If Zappe goes out in the season and he gets hurt, you got to go back out there, and you can only put your best foot forward. And I know you're saying they're in the quarterback market, but ultimately you got to have a really good plan around that young quarterback. And so maybe the plan wasn't as good. I don't know the situation as closely, guys. I'll be completely honest. But just speaking from my experience, I think young quarterbacks that are drafted in the first, second round, you got to have a plan for those guys to develop.
That's a good perspective.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, part of that plan might be consistency. You talked about having to, go through some changes, and different coaches have different coordinators and different ideas, but how important is the consistency, whether it's from an OC or even just a consistent quarterback coach? Or can the talent kind of overcome the changes in the instruction that you're getting?
I'll think back to this as well. I think what always helped young quarterbacks that had a lot of success, I think about Patrick Mahomes. Well, who did Pat have in front of him his first year was Alex Smith. Okay, and I think that's something that also is helpful for young rookie quarterbacks. I don't believe Mac Jones really had that time to really learn from a vet, before him.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, Mac started from day one.
Yeah.
And I think at times we can have this unrealistic expectation of, hey, this guy's coming from Alabama. He's a national champion. He's automatically going to be the guy, and I think at times he showed that.
There may have been some of that chatter.
Yeah, that's just what it is. That's just how the position is. When you're picked in the first round as a quarterback, man, you're held to a completely different standard than every other position. And fair or unfair, it just is. It's part of the job. Yeah. And I've always felt if you have a really good backup or somebody that's playing in front of you that's played 10-plus years, that knows how to be a pro, knows how to teach you to watch film on third down, knows how to go through a third down install with your offensive line, all the little small things about being a professional that you can't really learn unless you kind of go through the crap yourself, and then you learn by fire there. And so I think that's also helpful. So if you do draft another quarterback this year, hopefully the Patriots bring in another vet to try to teach this young guy.
So you played against Belichick then?
I did.
what was the hardest thing getting ready to
First
play?
game of my career.
So I called the game.
Almost got him, too.
So I do the
Almost
color
got
for
him.
him. I know. So, but we've always had tough games up in Buffalo. But when you prepare for him, what's different than preparing for other coaches, defensive-minded head coach, especially Bill?
Yeah, well, those teams had Tom Brady first off, and Rob Gronkowski. I just saw him walking around in here.
He's pretty good.
Try to say hello to him. He's pretty great. And I think the thing that we knew, that I learned, as a young rookie, was that you have to be very sharp against the Patriots. This is back then. I can't necessarily speak on them now, but back then, in that game specifically, it was my first game of my career, threw 2 touchdowns to Robert Woods and threw another to Stevie Johnson.
Corner routes, right?
Yep. One was like a little spray fade, and then another was a corner route, exactly.
Yep.
And also on a keep to leave. That was pretty cool. I always tell that story. Hey, my first touchdown was on a keep. Big deal for me. But in all seriousness, we knew we had to be sharp on third downs. You knew you couldn't turn the ball over. If you didn't win the turnover margin against the Patriots, you weren't going to win the game. And ultimately, I think in that game, we had dropped a third down convert, like a crossing route or something. The Patriots get the ball back with like a minute 20-something left. Tom, being Tom, goes right down the field. They kick a field goal with Gostkowski, I think, at the time, and they end up winning the game. So on one hand, I was upset that we lost, but on the other hand, I was like, hey, man, this is pretty cool. Like, I threw 2 touchdowns on the championship Patriots. So, looking back on them, man, they've always been a well-coached team, and, I'm sure they're going to try to get back to that.
When you look at this draft that's coming up, do you see a lot of starters, NFL caliber starters in this draft class of QBs?
The good thing is if the Patriots don't take a quarterback in that second pick, or if they trade it and try to get more picks in the first round, this is one of the deeper quarterback classes I've seen since I've been covering media. I think you have guys, kind of the best of both worlds. You have young guys like Drake May, who are like 3-and-out guys. Same with Caleb Williams, but then you also have guys that have been in college for 6 years. Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., Jaden Daniels, who have had 40-plus starts in their college career. So you would assume they've kind of seen everything, from the college game. Obviously, it's still going to be new as a rookie, but I think it really just depends what Coach O'Brien or what Coach Belichick want in a quarterback. Do you want somebody that's played 40-plus snaps or 40-plus starts in their college career, or do you want someone that's still a little bit younger? And, you look at Drake May and Caleb Williams, they're still going to have those learning curves when they get to the NFL. It's just a part of it. It's a completely different game. And so, again, as long as the expectation is set for them to have time to really grow and bloom, I think you'll be really happy with whatever quarterback you take, because this is a deep class.
Rank the Florida State quarterbacks 1 to 10 from best of all time.
Charlie Ward all time. Charlie Ward.
Charlie's always great.
I'm going to see Ward, yeah.
Chris Wanky, too, man.
I'll go see Ward, too, because he was doing stuff that wasn't as accepted back then as far as the running ability at the quarterback position. Because even when I was playing, like when I came out in 2012, people still kind of doubted you if you ran a little bit. And now if you run as a quarterback, it's the best thing ever. Everybody loves Josh Allen because he can run, truthfully. And so it's cool how the game has transitioned in a way to being accepting of more athletic quarterbacks. And in fact, I think you have to be athletic now. Defensive ends run 4.4, guys. Like, they don't run 4.7 no more. Like, these dudes are super fast off the edge. Defensive tackles run 4.6, so you have to use your legs at times. And so I would list C. Ward as my number one. I think just based off the season that he had, Jameis was probably 2, just because of the way that he came onto the scene. But I'll ask y'all a trick question. So who has the highest completion percentage all time in Florida State history, quarterbacks?
I was going to say either Wanky or there's another guy, Joe.
I think they got an EJ Manuel.
I was going to say,
I knew what you were doing. I knew you.
Had to just drop that there. So I'm not going to say I'm the best ever and all that, but I am proud of that one because I didn't even know about that one. At a game, they had me on the jumbotron and they threw it up there, so that was pretty cool.
Damn,
top 3.
How much you guys hate Miami? How much did you hate
what do you make of the
Miami?
Yeah, how much you hate them?
Woo, I live in Miami now. It's funny.
No, but you had them good,
I
right? You had
did.
some
Yeah,
big
I hated them.
games.
Yeah, I mean, look, I kind of was enthralled into the rivalry once I got there. I'm from Virginia, so I didn't necessarily grow up with that hatred between FSU, Miami, and Florida. So once I got to my first Miami matchup, I saw how real it was. I saw my teammates took it and the seriousness level of it. And so I think there's a love-hate, in the sense of there's a respect, of course, but when I was between those white lines, like, yeah, we hated those guys. We wanted to kill them 100-0.
It is weird, though, when you step into it later on in life.
Yeah.
Because you've moved around. Beatle's been in Boston his whole life. Zoe and I both, Pittsburgh and Detroit guys. But you come in, it's like you immediately understand, like, even things that you say. Things that you can't even say anything like mildly like borderline complimentary about the rival. Yeah, it's like, oh, no, people jump all over
Absolutely. And it's funny now because, again, I live in Miami, so my neighbors are all UM either alums or fans. And so it's always cool to walk around and, have my chest out. Because Florida State's beaten them a couple times in a row now. Last year we blew them out, and then this year we beat them as well. It was a close game, but
a nice backhanded compliment for them would be, I wish you guys were better so it'd be more fun to hate you. It'd be more fun, right? It'd be more fun if you guys were better right now.
I get the backhanded part. Where's the compliment?
That you wish they were better. Well, right?
No,
you wish they were. The friendly part of that is that you wish
some of those guys are my friends. Like Sean Spence, linebacker there, played for Pittsburgh Steelers for a long time, the Tennessee Titans. He's now a coach at Western Michigan, but he was coaching my stepson to be a linebacker. You know what I mean? So it's cool to kind of have those, of course, hatreds when we were playing, but once we get older, it's all love. You have respect for those guys.
Sensitive subject here, I'm sure, but your team not being in
you had to bring it up.
Playoff. I did. I had to bring it up.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Ultimately, I just feel sorry for the players who worked hard from January of 2023 to this point to go 13-0. And anybody that's played this game, you know how hard it is to win a game. But if you can win 13 of them, all right, and the 12th one that you won against your rival on the road was with a backup quarterback after your leader is out. The next one you win with a third-string quarterback, freshman, never played a snap or never started a game in his life, and you still win the game. So my issue is, when did it become the game of quarterback? It's still the game of football. And if you have a team that if you can win on defense, you can win with special teams, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, don't, not allow a team to get the chance to play for the ultimate reward, which is the national championship, just because their quarterback's not out and they may not fit the eye test and all this kind of stuff. So I'll never agree with it.
It's just a hard pill to swallow when there's literally nothing more that team could have done.
Nothing more.
Nothing
and
more.
Look, I'd even say this. It's almost like the committee should have just told them, hey, once Jordan Travis got hurt,
they're penalizing the quarterback.
Go ahead and wrap it up, guys. No need to finish the season out strong like they did. Right. And so I just feel like that's a bad precedent to sit or to start in college football. Like the game shouldn't become commercialized like that. It's still about winning games. That has to matter.
EJ, great to have you here today.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you stopping by. EJ Manuel.
Who y'all taking in the draft, man? Drake May or where we going? What do you guys think?
Well, Caleb Williams is
tackle Marvin Harrison. We like throwing the receivers.
Okay, yeah, Marvin Harrison. Yeah. That'd be a great one, actually.
I go receiver or tackle.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
Then figure.
Free agent quarterback? I'm trying to get
up the board, though.
We don't know.
Moving up the board.
All right.
It's
Let
fluid.
me know if you want to talk about it.
It's fluid.
You still play, man.
I probably could. I had a couple meniscus injuries, so tell
awful.
Bill, give me a call, man. I know Coach O'Brien. He actually gave my first scholarship ever when he was at Duke. He was the OC at Duke. My 10th going in my 11th grade year. So known Coach OB for a long time, man.
Good stuff.
Yeah.